Hey, it's Alex, and in this video today I'm going to tell you exactly how much money you need to bring over with you when you come to teach English in Vietnam to get set up to cover your costs until you start earning a salary teaching English out here. Bún bò Huế. How's it?
Delicious.
Beef pieces, there's like a meatball in there, and then you can put all this fresh stuff. Thank you. And then we got these little, I don't even know what they are, they're kind of like crunchy underneath, and then rice, gooey stuff on the top, but like really tasty with like a prawn inside. How are yours?
Delicious. I don't know what this is, but it's good.
Another thing that I wanted to ask about Vietnam is, I know in Korea.
So for getting a job in Vietnam, you typically have to come over to the country and do in-person interviews, maybe a demo class with the school, which is kind of nice because then you get to see the schools in person. Typically schools won't hire you via Skype interview abroad. If they do, just be wary of that because we've noticed that most of the top schools aren't doing that at this point in time. So, you know, just watch out for a school that promises you anything while you're abroad. So you got to come out here to get started, and when you arrive, you want enough money to keep you going. So we typically recommend that you come out. If you're doing our TEFL course out here, our 4-week course, then of course you get the first month's accommodation taken care of, plus the training, and then we help place you in a job. And typically your costs are going to be very low for that. You only have to pay for food, maybe a few $100s for food, right? So if you're not doing that, if you're already TEFL qualified and you're coming out to Vietnam, then you can arrive with what we recommend is about 2,000 US dollars. Now let me quickly break that down for you so you know what the different expenses are going to be. So when you arrive, you typically want to stay in a hostel or a hotel for a week or two while you're doing in-person interviews with schools. Now, we don't really recommend that you get an apartment right away because the problem with that is if you get a school that's in a certain district and you get hired there, then if you've got an apartment on the other side of the city, you're going to have a pretty long commute. Like the city of Ho Chi Minh City, for example, is quite close between the different districts. You can get between them fairly easily. Hanoi is quite spread out, so typically what you want to do is just find that job first. So arrive, stay in a cheap hostel or a hotel. If you want a private room, there are private rooms in the hostels as well. And when you do that, you can just book for a few nights. If you don't like it, move somewhere else. Just check out any hotel booking site for this. Check out places around Bui Vien Street. You'll typically find something cheap, anything from $6 a night for a hostel room or maybe $12 or above for a private room. So not too bad, and that's going to be your first couple of weeks while you're interviewing and doing in-person demo classes with schools. Then during that period, you want to go ahead and cover all your costs of food and accommodation, which is going to be a hotel, after which you get hired. It's going to be about a month until you get paid, right? So that's going to be, a month plus the few weeks that it's going to take to land a job. So I would budget for 1 to 2 months of living costs, and typically we say that you can live under $1,000 per month in Vietnam quite easily. So the other expense though is going to be putting down some money for an apartment. So typically apartments or rooms in shared houses, you can get a private room with other teachers in like a nice house, anywhere from $300 even lower, $200 to $300 for a shared room. If you get your own apartment, maybe $300 to $500. It really just depends on the district. You can check out all my housing videos. I've done a few of them already to see the different options for that. But you are going to have to put down a deposit of usually 2 months deposit, sometimes 1 month if you negotiate. But that's going to be 1 month's rent up front plus 2 months worth of deposit. So that's going to be a chunk of change to put down for your apartment. If you're really strapped for cash, stay in like a cheap short-term accommodation. Check out my video on 18 Wen Tumen Kai Street, alley 18A, where you can find a room in a house month by month that's cost maybe $250 per month. You can just get a once-off place for that month, of your first month of teaching, if you want to keep your costs low. And then once you started earning a salary, you can get a nicer apartment if that's something you want to do. So that could be a good chunk of change for the deposit and the first month's rent. Like I said, if you are low on the budget side, you can go and save that, maybe whatever it is, $600 to $900 for after you've started earning, and then get your long-term accommodation after that. But otherwise, budgets for that within your first few weeks when you find an apartment after you've landed a job. So then your main cost is just going to be food and transportation. Watch my video on getting around via motorbikes and Uber if you want to know more about transportation costs. Typically very low, a couple of $100s a month max, less than $100 typically. And then of course it's just eating out versus cooking. If you cook for yourself, you can eat very cheaply. Even if you eat out at local restaurants, you can get meals anything from $1 to $2 per meal. Maybe a bit more, but it just depends. So I'd budget a few $100s per month for food as well. So typically we just recommend $2,000 is a good amount. That should cover you until you start earning quite nicely. Of course, you can do it a lot cheaper than that. You guys might have seen my friend Ricky in previous videos, the one with the motorbike road trip up in Hanoi. He actually arrived on literally $200 like in his hand and managed to start working and get started. Like, I don't recommend that, but I'm just saying it can be done more cheaply. But we recommend about $2,000. So if you want to come out here, budget that. The nice thing is that when you do get a teaching job, if you got a good solid number of hours, you can make a good salary and make back that money very quickly. I mean, check out my other videos on the kind of salary you can make, but anything from $1,500 to $2,000 a month, depending on your teaching hours. So you can make that money back very quickly over a couple of months. All right, so if you want to come out here, hit us up on ninjateacher.com if you want some job placement assistance. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't already, if you haven't watched any videos on my channel. All right, I'll speak to you soon. Peace.